good morning, or good afternoon.
Yeah,
or
good evening
Good
for some.
evening, yes.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd you feel about yesterday?
It was good. It was a totally new experience. Felt very vulnerable designing live, but I think we accomplished a lot, and I hope you guys learned some cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a lot of fun just to kind of work live and have the community there to kind of provide feedback and help. I don't know, maybe even today they can help come up with a name for the product. I know that was something that we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
Just for those of you that are joining us, we're here at Adobe Live. This is day 2 out of 3. Is that halfway here? It's kind of halfway.
Yeah.
Maybe 1.5, so. Right?
Maybe into like our next hour, it'll be halfway.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. We're here with Alissa Suzanne. She's joining us, and myself, Mark Eisen. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what's your background,
Sure.
where you're coming from.
Yeah, I am a graphic designer and art director and UX UI designer. And I've been an artist my whole life, and I just really enjoy branding and creating awesome experiences for people, whatever that looks like. I have my own business called Scribble Pie that I just launched in October of last year. So doing that full time as a business owner. So that's pretty exciting.
Awesome.
And so my website actually is scribblepie.com. If you want to check that out and see what I do, there's a range of projects there. So yeah.
How'd you come up with the name Scribble Pie?
So Scribble Pie, it was back in college when I had to create a portfolio site like for my senior project, and Scribble Pie was my interpretation. So scribbles, scribbles means like art for me, like my drawings and stuff and my work, and then pie is like I'm sharing a piece of pie with you. So it's like the connection for me was like I'm sharing my work with you. This is my portfolio.
That's awesome.
So it's just kind of like a metaphorical name for showcasing my designs.
Very cool. That's awesome. No,
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So a couple things. Make sure for those of you that are active in Behance, anybody that's chatting with us will participate in the chat to win. We've got a notebook and an XD sticker for you. So yeah, basically sign in, let us know that you're here, say hi, drop an emoji, let us know where you're from. It's always cool just to see where everybody's from. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Amber. Thanks for joining us. Tim,
Welcome.
always great to see you in here. Gelso, Fabian, awesome. So yep, if you chat to win today, you're gonna have the chance to win one of these sweet notebooks and an XD sticker. I think I have one on my laptop. Yep, I got a few.
Is it blank inside, or is it lined, or
That's a good question.
gridded?
We've got a gridded
Ooh.
notebook, which is similar to what you've been sketching on.
Yeah, that's perfect for wireframing.
Awesome. Also, we are doing the challenge today. The challenge, for those of you that are coming off of the XD Daily Challenge, which was just minutes prior, is the same theme. So we're focusing on an activity tracker. A good opportunity to explore dashboard designs for a mobile device. Would love to see everybody's take on that. If you took part in the challenge earlier, great opportunity to share your work and to continue to get more feedback. So really looking forward to seeing everybody's submissions there. So, yeah.
So activity meaning like fitness?
I think it means a lot. Yeah, I think
like healthy lifestyle.
I think some of the themes that I found were definitely around pedometer, step tracking, fitness. I think general health and wellness were definitely some themes.
Yeah, I have a Fitbit. It reminds me to get up and take breaks when I'm designing, and I have it's actually really encouraging. I have Fitbit has I guess week challenges that you can invite your friends to, and it's like a bunch of other females, and we kind of compete on steps throughout the week. And so it'll say Alissa, it'll notify me and say Alissa, you're in the lead, or Alissa, you're doing really bad today, or something. And so it encourages me to get up and work out or something. So
that's awesome. So does it prompt you to kind of get out and be like, all right, I need to go to the park and walk around for an hour?
It'll say Bailey's on the move, catch up to her. Yeah.
That's cool.
And there's, of course, like no like real incentive or prize, but at the end of the week it says like first place, second place, third place. So I always like try to make it. I think I've only done first place once. But
Awesome. That's cool. It's a good opportunity to walk the puppy also.
Yes. Yeah. I have a puppy. For those of you that didn't catch yesterday.
Yeah. Very cool. So cool. We can take a couple minutes and kind of recap where we started and where we left off yesterday. And then, it'd be really awesome just to hear what are your thoughts for today, what you're excited about working on. And as always, the prompt for the community, we are definitely searching for some product names. So send us your ideas. We had some great submissions yesterday. We didn't get a chance to address all those, so you can resubmit the same names you sent yesterday. We'll pick a name. If anybody wants to take the opportunity to design a logo, that's also cool. Sometimes that can show up in the work.
Should I guess I could recap the brief of what the app is.
Yeah,
to also
let's do it.
Help you guys understand a good name, like have a good name idea. So sorry, I lost my train of thought. For the app, it's inspired by fitness and specifically for a gym or fitness studio that is class-based or group fitness, if you want to go that route, like group fitness / class-based. And so I just recently joined Orin Theory and was inspired kind of by their business model and their app to redesign something for a fictitious gym that has a bunch of different classes. And kind of the app that I'm designing has like a booking feature, so you can like navigate and find the classes like that, like via different filters. So where am I? Let me show you guys. So you can find your classes based on instructors, the day of the week, or the intensity of the class. And so we would have like, hip hop, cardio class, weights, yoga, Zumba. So that's kind of the goal, to help people find classes easily and to track their progress, which might be a screen I'll work on today. And also to just stay encouraged and, have like little text when you sign in, and it'll say like something motivating when you sign in to your app to book your class. So that's kind of the goal, and maybe that'll help you guys also come up with some cool name ideas as well. So it's for a gym. It's not like a standalone app or anything. So maybe that'll help you guys.
Cool. And yesterday you also shared some of your sketches, which was a really nice way for you to kind of come in with a few ideas so that then you can kind of take that into XD. And so we're definitely at the point where we're kind of focusing on the high fidelity visual design within XD, which is, in case some of you hadn't heard, XD is now free based off of their starter plan, which is awesome. So even if you're following along but you don't currently use XD, it's a great opportunity to download, sign up, and kind of join us as we go through the process.
Yeah, good luck. I'm excited to see it.
Cool. All right.
So I guess we can maybe look at just the wireframes from yesterday.
Let's do it.
And then what we'll be doing today.
I will hold the camera.
Okay. Should have got my nails done.
Me too.
Okay, so here we have the navigation, which I worked on yesterday, and I kind of wrote out like exactly what I wanted in each option or each page for the app. And then that brought us to here, which if you click on, that arrow should probably go down here. But if you click on Find Classes, it'll then take you here to find your classes. And then today we're going to work on this portion here, which is the booking, or well, that was also booking, but this is how to find classes for a specific day of the week. So if you don't care about finding a specific instructor and you just can only go on Tuesday, you can do it like that. And then from clicking that button, Find Classes, it'll then direct you to here, which kind of just populates all the classes that are available for that day or days if you wanted to look at a few days. So yeah, so that'll be like the instructor's face, just like their name, the description of the class, the time that it's available, and an option to book right there. So yeah.
Awesome sketches.
Thanks.
Sketches are a huge part of the workflow for me. How about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that it's a lot faster than I come from a graphic design background where I want things to look pretty, and like I can spend a lot of time on typefaces and colors and layout. So I know that I could really spend like a ton of time there. So like doing sketches is really helpful. And I mean, this is like a final version of my wireframe. I cleaned it up for you guys, but I threw away the other ones. But for example, this navigation portion, like I had a few different variations on how that should look, and you can definitely like sketch a few options, and then once you're going through your user flow and kind of how like the hierarchy of navigation and such, then you can kind of choose like what you think is the best solution for that. So that's kind of what we did there. I've also seen where people prototype their wireframes and like actual sketches, and so that's another option if you want to like test out multiple options for a specific page, and just do like user testing for that. That's another cool way to kind of do something that's like very rough but still get like a great result on testing. So
yeah, I've done actual hand sketches in XD before, and just as a just to try to get a feel for what feels good about tapping to a certain location, or how I feel about kind of the overall experience of the app. So also paper mock-ups are really fun.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can just take these sketches and put them in front of somebody and say, okay, you know, if you wanted to get to the menu, where would you click?
Right.
And then they'll tap something, and you're kind of like, why'd you tap that? And then it kind of helps to just, from a design perspective, to kind of get an idea of what user expectations are. So really, really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. Yesterday, you designed some amazing logos and icons.
Oh, yes.
A la carte, which was really, really cool. So if in case you missed yesterday, each of these icons were designed by Alissa on screen, live, in the moment. And it was a really cool way just to capture someone's process and how they create icons. I don't spend enough time doing that, so I think that's why I got really excited about it.
Yeah.
And you also made it feel really approachable. You know, kind of like, oh, okay, I learned how to make a heart now.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's extremely valuable.
I remember one of my very first classes in design or my very first project. I was a freshman in a design class, and my professor told me that everything is based on shapes. And so it was a shape project, and like thinking of it in that way. So like, for example, this heart is just like two shapes pieced together. And then I don't know the terminology here, but I use this feature up here to add them. Is that the word? Yeah, it says add. There we go. So yeah, I combine those shapes, and there you have a heart.
Awesome. Yeah, I have to be honest. I tried to actually recreate the heart yesterday, and I couldn't remember how to get the point in XD on the ellipse. So maybe we can cover that again today. But
the point. Oh.
Yeah. So when you start with the ellipse, and then you get the kind of the map drop pin.
Oh yeah, I can do that right now.
How to do it? So.
Oh, my mouse isn't connected. Yeah. So if you're doing a heart, or not a heart, really anything that you need a point from. There we go. I think you double click, and your anchor points come up here, just like in Illustrator, for those of you that use Illustrator. And then you just like bring it down. If you're doing like one of those marker icons that are used a lot in like traveling apps or Google or Apple Maps. So then here you just bring it in.
Oh my God.
And you can of course play with like how long it is, or
Awesome.
yeah, it's pretty fun.
Very cool. Okay. Mind blown. Awesome. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get to today. There's a lot of vibrancy. There's a lot of energy in your app, which I think is really refreshing. Your color palette is extremely refreshing. So it's going to be nice just to see like how we kind of get through the content today.
Yeah, I wanted to like make working out like a fun experience and not something that feels intense or intimidating, but even within the app, and then hopefully within the brand of the app, just have like an approachable gym experience.
Awesome.
Where all levels are welcome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, let's get started. That sounds awesome. Chat to Win is coming up in about 15 minutes, 12 minutes. So make sure to drop a message, let us know where you're from, say hi. You'll be chosen or randomly selected to win this sketchbook that's got a grid in it, and you'll be receiving the XD sticker. So all you got to do is chat to win, which is awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, well, we looked at that already. So let's start. So I'm going to jump into the next portion of how to filter your classes. Thanks. So we will, I'm going to just, I think you can, yeah. So you select option to just, if you want to like use your previous screen as a, like a template for your next page. That way everything is still perfectly aligned. So just press option and drag and you'll see like it move beautifully. So I'm going to retitle it Weekday Search. Why did that get so small? Oh, okay. Cool. So then we'll do, I'm going to drag this button here to highlight that we're on the weekday portion, and then delete all of this. So now we're going to have a calendar. So if you guys go up to File and get UI kits, you can download wireframes and UI kits, which are just tools that help you in your process with icons and layouts. So I recommend you take a look at that if you haven't looked. But I've downloaded those already. So I've got some up my sleeve to use.
By the way, like I'm constantly blown away by the quality of the UI kits. It's so cool just to have those types of assets readily accessible, and just to be able to see someone's take on charts and graphs. And I don't know. Every time I see a new kit, I'm just like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Have you made one before?
I haven't.
That's like my goal, to make one and like publish it and have people use it.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It's a good goal. I know Megan, who's going to be on after us,
Yes.
designed the
She did.
social pet pet
Yeah.
UI kit.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's on the Adobe UI kit page. So she's featured there with her UI kit. This one here was also on the Adobe page. And so it's great. They're like organized by different parts of the app that you could use. Like they show it how it's applied, but they also, of course, all UI kits are organized differently, but in this one, it has like the components here and like individual elements that you could use.
and what's the name of this kit?
This is the dashboard from the, let me show you guys. More UI kits. So if you go here, I guess it's on the Adobe blog, and scroll down, it's this one right here, dashboard.
Awesome.
100 customizable components, and over a dozen charts. And there's all different kinds, like one for transportation, travel, e-commerce. That one I think is Megan's, yeah, the e-commerce one, or Pawtastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where I got that, and I just downloaded it, and it is, where it is, it's here. Okay, so within here there's a calendar somewhere once I find it. Date range, picker, okay. So I think I'm feeling this one here without the lines, just for something more clean. I think the lines are implied that they're different days, so I'm gonna go for that one.
Awesome.
So I'm just gonna copy it, I pressed Command C, and then I'm gonna go back into, we don't need that anymore, those are my slides. I'm gonna go back in here and paste it. Okay, probably don't need those little circles either. Whoops. Maybe we'll keep them. All right, so it's always a little bit of a challenge with UI kits because you don't know how they're organized, and you have to familiarize yourself a bit with how the designer created it. So we've all got a different way we do things. Okay, so I'm going to retitle it to May, since we're in May. And probably want to make that a little bit smaller. Oh shoot, let's see here. Let's take those guys out. Add that in later. Okay, maybe now we can, locking my layers. There's like a weird 2 behind it. Is it because it's in maybe repeat grid? I should probably ungroup that.
Why the 2's there?
Oh, like it's like ungroup grid. It's like scaling a little bit weird. I think it's just how it was designed. See how the numbers like.
Oh yeah.
Let's try this. Sometimes it's just trial and error. Yeah, see, look, the numbers are like disappearing. I wonder what that issue is.
Yeah, it's probably the grouping or repeat grid.
Yeah. Huh.
I think if I were in this situation, I would try to, because you're trying to constrain yourself with your white space that you've already created as your canvas.
Yeah.
I would tell myself that it's probably easier for me to expand my canvas.
I was just thinking that.
And then,
Should
like,
I just remove it completely?
Or you could just kind
It's so cute.
because
but
you have so much
it's
padding, you could just like widen it a little bit and then
Yeah.
widen it on the previous screen, and
Yeah.
then that way you're not constraining yourself with a
Yeah.
design that you made, like a choice that you made previously to the component that you're trying to put in there.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
be a good way to just get unstuck and try to be like, all right.
I was thinking that too. I love like the little card feature, but yeah, it definitely like constrains you in design. Like some people go, of course, like full bleed, which is also a nice look. But I think it's just kind of,
Yeah, I really like the card. I think it frames the content really nicely.
yeah.
And you've been able to adjust it with the padding now so that it's able to work with everything.
Yeah, good solution.
Done. Ship it. Tim, thanks for joining us. Katri, Steve. Steve says, would love to see nested UI kits so you can change between colors just by changing a couple of properties. I think referring a little bit to the asset library. But yeah, absolutely.
Within here.
Yeah, like being able
Yeah.
to customize things, I think is making them more extensible and
Yeah.
usable by anybody.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right now I've just got a little button in there. Okay.
Hi, Amy. So yeah, for Chat to Win, it's really just about having a conversation, letting us know where you're from, chatting in the room with us, saying hi. We're about 3 minutes out from selecting our random winner. And the way you get chosen is actually whether or not you've been active in the chat. So sign into Behance. Also in the chat window is where you can find more details on the challenge for today. And the challenge is focused on an activity tracker. So designing a dashboard for a mobile activity tracker. Hey Sean, Zach.
There we go. Okay. And then I'm not sure what
I'm Minji.
with that. Okay. Cool. So now we've got our calendar with a more spread out or a wider margin on the card. And then I think I'm just going to change the header there. So what I just did, this was just like the text that came with the UI kit, but I have my character styles here. And so by just like clicking through them, it can just change with your style already set. So that's a pretty nice feature. Okay, so here we've got our calendar. Let's group that again.
Awesome.
Ugh. Dragging that up. And then referring back to my wireframes, so from here we'll do, I'm wondering if it's like necessary to put the second month, like a scrollable type of thing, or if we should just add arrows back in so people, I don't think people would typically be booking a workout class like 2 months in advance, unless it was something that they were like calendaring out. But I think just having the 1 month would be ideal. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think people like options. So I
Yeah.
think the ability to kind of, I think that if I were to come onto an experience and only see 1 month and not be able to navigate it, I
Yeah.
think it would feel a little bit strange.
Especially if you're in the end of the month, like the 31st,
Right.
and you want to see the next,
next
month.
week.
Or if it populated like, from the 15th kind of thing. But I think for now I'll just put in 2 arrows.
Some arrows.
That way you can, or just 1 arrow, because you wouldn't be going back
Awesome.
in time. So maybe just 1 arrow.
Cool. And
So-
we're out of time for our chat to win. So if you were active in the chat and you let us know where you're from or you said hi, you're going to be randomly selected to win this XD sketchbook and receive an XD sticker. So we're excited to see. We've got a really, really smart algorithm that's going to be randomly selecting all of our winners. So we'll let you know who that is. It took probably over a few years to build the algorithm. We call it Gus. It's its nickname. So we'll let you know who the winner is.
Okay, let's get a little arrow in. Should be like that.
Yes, the giveaway. All the hypes.
Hype, hype, hype.
Also, in case you're curious about what the chat to win is, we've got a really, really fun video that'll blow your mind. So awesome. I think I really love nods to like video games and especially retro games.
Yeah. It's a good animator on that video. Okay.
So yeah, adding some arrows, enabling kind of some functionality for the calendar.
Yeah. I might need to revisit that. I'm not sure how I feel about that arrow being just like alone. Could put it like in a circle. Let's see. Let's add that there to my color palette as well.
Hey Roman, thanks for joining us from Vancouver. Nathan, the countdown's actually for the chat to win, which is an opportunity to kind of join the community, chat and share with us, and also to be selected to win some of the XD swag that we have here. So sometimes it can be a pillow, sometimes it can be a notebook, socks, it varies.
Ooh, Sean likes the color scheme. Yay.
Oh yeah, lots of love for the color scheme. I think the colors are really, really nice.
Cool.
So we have the algorithm has actually output the random winner. So we have our random winner.
Oh, cool.
So if you wanted to announce, I will hold the XD sketchbook and we'll let the lucky winner know.
Greg Mindy.
Congratulations.
Burr, 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 burr. That's my announcer voice.
This is the second show that I've been in where I've heard the DJ horn pulled out. Picho was another designer that mentioned that. But yeah, DJ horn, good call. Awesome. So we're going to send you this XD notebook. Great place actually to put your sketches. It's gridded, which is just like what Alyssa's been working on for all the wireframe designs. So it's a really good way just to kind of frame any type of wireframes or UI concepts. So yeah, we'll send this to you.
Cool.
We still have the challenge going on. So activity tracker is the challenge for today.
Yeah.
For XD. So click over into the challenge tab for the details if you're curious about what you're going to be working on. It's a mobile dashboard for an activity tracker. Congrats, Greg. He's so happy. He's like, I won. Yay.
Woohoo.
So.
Okay. Still not sure how I feel about that arrow. I don't know if it should be there or if it should be here, awkwardly off to the side.
I wonder if the community has an opinion on maybe where they feel placement of the arrow makes sense. So we're deliberating over placement for navigating the calendar. Yeah, would love to hear your thoughts. Just let us know if you feel like the icon makes sense. I guess really close to the month title, or whether you have other ideas. Drop shadow is a nice touch.
Yeah. Lets you know it's like a little button to use. I mean, as a graphic designer, just like for symmetry, I would love to put one on the left, but I don't think it makes sense. No one's going to be like going back in time to book a class. So, like visually, it would just look nice, but it doesn't function. Like there's no purpose in having an arrow there. Yeah.
Yeah. It also depends on how you think about the interaction. So, said another way, kind of like when you come into the iTunes store and you're able to see a few games on one screen and then kind of the leading edge of a game off screen. That's a really good way to imply that there's some sense of interaction or scrollability.
Right.
And so, you know, it's going to be a challenge here because we're using so much of the real estate for the calendar. But maybe there's ways that we could hint that there's something off screen, which could imply like I could actually tap and swipe this over as a way to navigate it.
Gestures.
Yep, so gestures, touch, haptic feedback, all those are really good things to consider. In my mind's eye, I was wondering, oh, well, could you put kind of the hint of the next month, like maybe showing off the edge, like if you were to show June, but because we're center aligning, it's tough.
And it's a lot of content in one space. I was thinking about that actually for the instructors, because there might not always be 3 instructors for a class. There might be 5. So putting them like off to the side, which I butchered just now, but like, you know, cropping it at the white part and having like a scrollable feature could be also a nice touch.
Yeah, and what you're describing is kind of the ideal use case where this is an app that's populated by all these instructors.
Right.
But, you know, sometimes we as experienced designers also have to think about, well, what if there's no instructors? Or what if there's just one?
Yeah.
And so how do we design for those kind of like empty states? Or I kind of refer to them as ghost towns. So it's kind of like you come into this app and there's not a lot of activity. And it's like you need to find ways to like engage with the user or the customer in a way that they've got something to do. So we got a couple of suggestions. Lyle said put an arrow on the left, but at a lower opacity or gray. So kind of like an inactive state, which is a nice, you know, it's a good way to show.
That's a good one.
Maybe how you could use and navigate the app.
Yep. Let's try that. Let's see.
And there's definitely some considerations about reachability and kind of like touch zones. So even though we're having the arrows there, considering
They're pretty tiny.
Well, it's actually just about, you know, are you required to tap, or is it just an indication also that you could swipe it?
Right. Yep. Yeah.
But now you have your balance.
I know. I like that we have balance.
The world is right. There is order.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's kind of the calendar feel. Can definitely refine that as I go and maybe look back at it. It's always good to like take a break and then look at something you did maybe like the next day and you're like, what was I doing?
Oh yeah.
With fresh pair of eyes. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's do the button now for find classes. So I can just drag over my symbol. Oh, but that would change all my symbols. That's right. Okay. So let's create a new button here. So I'm just going to use a rectangle and put it in there, and remove the border, add a fill, which I'm using this color for anything that requires an action or a next step for the user to just condition them to, you know, to be able to select something so they know, okay, this is for me to move on to the next page or whatever. That's also why I used it up here. So hopefully that would make sense. So let's do find classes. So if you're interested in attending on May 15th, which was yesterday, but let's just pretend we'll do that. So
G says their mind is blown.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That's amazing.
What in particular is your mind blown about? Like, which is it, the calendar or the?
Good follow-up
What
question.
are you learning?
It's also cool, you know, as you kind of put the call to action. I think that helps set the constraints for the interactions for the calendar. You know,
that's a good point.
It's a good way for you to say, you know what, I actually can't do a vertical scrolling here because I'm going to use this area to place a call to action. So really nice constraints.
Yeah. Also, how you title your action or your call to action is very important as well. So instead of just saying like next, or this kind of describes what you're going to expect in the next page. So, you know, you kind of want to be descriptive with what they're going to experience. So if they're like, oh, I actually don't want to see this page or whatever, I think it's just a good way to like create an experience for them versus just like next or, you know, enter or submit. You're actually giving them a call to action, like, oh, this is what I do on this page. It's kind of like, I guess, educating the user too, like, this is what I'll be finding next.
Awesome. Really nice tip. we're just shy of 50 minutes out from our challenge. I'm really excited to see what people come up with today. Yesterday we had some really, really nice submissions. We picked a winner. The winner for the challenge is actually going to be receiving an annual subscription to Adobe CC. So even though XD is free, which is awesome, and you're now able to have access to it, there's also huge benefits to getting access to the entire CC library and being able to use other programs like Illustrator, Photoshop, things that I still use on a regular basis. So yeah, make sure to submit your challenge submissions. It's going to be really cool just to see what everybody comes up with. We spent some time designing an activity tracker for Mars in the XD Daily Challenge previously. So yeah, have fun with it. Share some ideas. Find some inspiration. Look at some other resources. And yeah, let us know what you're thinking. It'd be really cool. You can find the challenge details, which I'll just read off real quick, in the challenge tab. And so today we're going to be focusing on a mobile dashboard for an activity tracker. This is a challenge that runs tandem with our XD challenge, Creative Challenge. So we're kind of grouping the XD Creative Daily Challenge with our Adobe Live segment as well, which is a really nice way for people to kind of continue on their work and make sure that they're able to get something in.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. All right, so moving on.
So what's next?
So I'm going to do, instead of doing the intensity portion, I haven't even actually wireframed that yet, how that would look. I'm going to just continue with the flow of what the user will see when they click on Find Classes. So we're going to do that part,
awesome.
Which we showed it earlier. It's just like how they'll be able to book the classes on that particular day.
I really like how in your wireframes your arrows are kind of the same way that you would think about plugging in the prototype in XD. So there's arrows on here for each of the kind of sketches in the screens that kind of indicate, oh, if I tap this is going to take me here.
Right.
And so it's a good way just for you to kind of get even some of your prototyping thinking out in sketch form. So
it helps
it's
just
a lot of
connect the pages. Like, I know a lot of people, and of course there's not one right way to do it. Some people do like a diagram, like a sitemap type of thing. Some people do like outline, like they just write in like the page and what would happen. Did that make sense? Like bullet points. But for me to just visualize it, kind of how it looks like within the program with just arrows, that take you from point A to point B, I think is helpful for me to just kind of map it out. So there's no one right way to do wireframes, or everyone has a different process. So find what's right for you.
awesome.
Okay. So I'm going to copy this artboard again. Just bring it over here to just use that whole template again and retitle it as a class, oops, can't type, class list, or weekday class list, so I know. Okay. Locking my layers. At this point, I think I'm going to, I didn't draw it in my wireframe, but I think I'm still going to keep the navigation up here and then do a header that says classes. And that way, if they don't like what they find there, they can still go back. I think that would be a good solution. So let's delete all that and start. So I think I'll be using a repeat grid up in this page. Okay. So let's copy that and do classes. I should have played with my kerning a while ago. It's bothering me now. 100?
Curious if everybody knows what kerning is.
Yeah. Kerning and leading are probably the two big ones to know, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're referring to the spaces between the letters?
Yes. Yes.
When you're selecting your font.
Yep.
Sometimes with different font densities or different, I guess, thickness, sometimes things can become illegible at certain sizes, or
Yeah.
even sometimes you can look at a word and you just kind of have to tilt your head and you're like, that doesn't look like it says what it should be saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it took me like years to actually like, I knew what they both were, but I would always get them mixed up, like kerning and leading. But leading is the space between the lines, like the line space. And that's, both of those options are actually right here in the text panel. So if you see that little arrow right there, that means the space between the letters, or kerning. And then right here is line spacing. I guess Adobe chose line spacing instead of leading because it's probably easier to understand. And so that's right here, so you can change that if you're doing like a paragraph or body text. Okay, so actually I'm just going to use this little guy. Nope, I'm not going to use that guy. Should probably be creating more symbols at this point. But instead I just like to do things by hand. Okay, so that's going to be like our little book button. I'm going to create a entire rectangle, and that's going to be the one class box, and you'll see what I mean by that. So I'm going to put a small shadow on it, probably smaller than that, and do, yeah, there we go. I think I might even lighten it more than that. So that's a shadow. It kind of just functions as like, it looks like a little bit of a line, like a separation. So what I'll be doing when I repeat my grid is, where did it go? Oh, I don't think I copied that. Am I copying it? It's not copying. All right, well, we'll see in a second.
Sometimes just the Command V or Command Copy, Command Paste works.
Yeah, which I don't
does
use
it off
enough.
screen.
Did it not do it? Where did it go?
And I think sometimes these list items that generally show up in kind of a list view can be classified as like a cell or a table cell.
Yes.
For like a clarifying term. And they're really common, you know, anywhere from kind of your phone book on your phone to recent calls to even like email apps. You know, you're going to see list views, and all those list views are going to exist in table cells.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be the cell. Thank you for giving me the official term.
Oh yeah, just here to help. Just here to help. I learned that from Paul.
I just like, I don't know, sometimes I guess I don't use them enough, so they like escape me. Especially when talking to like a client, like you don't want to throw out like a bunch of terminology that they don't understand. Like you don't want to make your client feel stupid. So you're going to say like, this is the small box that my content is placed in versus cell. Or leading, for example. So, okay. Did I? Oh, I guess I deleted it. My little button. So this is going to be how we book a class. The goal was kind of like Orange Theory, where you purchase a set of classes a month, and that's actually why you would want to book a class, to use like your set classes that you purchased. Because I know like places like LA Fitness, you just show up, and you pay like a one-time or the same price every month.
Awesome, Steve. Enjoy your food. Thanks for joining us.
Let's do that. 8 a.m. Maybe we should. Whoops, there's a smiley in there.
Also, for everybody else, we're here with Alissa Suzanne, and this is day 2 of our Adobe Live session. Following Alissa, we have Megan and Zach coming up. We can show just the overall session, what's going to be happening for the rest of the day, but session wraps up at about 3:30, so thanks so much for joining us in the morning. It's definitely great just to have everybody active and chatting and sharing ideas. We've even been able to evolve and push our design into some new areas through the community feedback, which is really cool.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Hi, Mitch. Good to see you. I think Mitch and Tim and a few others are just ever present. Just always. Yeah, it's really nice just to see people that are consistently showing up.
You're like the groupies of Adobe Live.
Mitch, you would have loved it. We did a activity tracker for the XD Daily Challenge that was based off of tracking your steps or your airtime on Mars. So
that's what you did today, this morning?
Yeah, we spent some time in the morning doing that. Tried to make sure I got all my gravitational percentages correct for Moon to Mars.
Okay. I'm a fan of like space movies, and I have a friend that's always like, I don't get it, why do you like space movies? And we're always like arguing. She's like, it's so lame. I liked the movie Gravity. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That movie made my palms sweat.
Yeah, that was a cool
movie. I was so
movie.
nervous, that movie.
It was very cool. Yeah, some of the scenes were definitely on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Really beautifully shot, though. I think cinematically it was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Interstellar is another good one.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Axel, thanks for joining us.
Okay. So I'm going to...
Hey, Ryan. Ryan, let us know where you're from. Be cool to... Ryan said he had a fire drill this morning.
Oh. At work?
I don't know. So we're focusing on the class list right now. Just previously, we worked through the calendaring. We've been spending about the last hour or so just going over, I guess, kind of this white label class app that any kind of gym could basically sign up for and then have access to, and it would be a good way for them to help schedule people that are attending the gym and help provide access to their gym. So we've got, I think we're working on our 4th screen right now. Been moving really quickly through the designs.
Oh, we are? Whew, good.
So
I'm not sure if I want a shadow on this. This is just a photo of the instructor when you find your classes. So I'm not sure if a border or a shadow we should have here. Let me know what you guys think on that. I kind of like the border, but maybe it should be more subtle or nothing at all. We'll keep a border for now. Okay, let's see. And now we'll do some text.
This is true. true. We don't have a name yet.
We don't have a name.
Simon mentioned class action. I think that was one of the suggestions
Class action.
he came up with yesterday.
Class action lawsuit. Isn't that?
I can't help but tie like lawsuit.
Yeah.
On the end.
Yeah.
Like,
It's probably not a good idea.
I just want
for
to
a
complete
gym.
the sentence.
Yeah. By itself, it's a fun name though,
Mhm.
but tying it to like a lawsuit,
Body tuned.
body tuned. That's fun. I like body tune. Unknown gem. Okay. Let me stay on track.
Yeah, so I can let you focus a little bit. I'll pull up some of the examples that we have. We've got about 30 minutes remaining for the activity tracker challenge. So I've got a couple early submissions. Definitely want to take the chance to share those. Get some really, really nice designs on here. Really good use of color. Let's look at our first submission here. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit, just so everybody can get full view. So as I mentioned, the prompt is to design an activity tracker dashboard for a mobile device. So we're looking at 3 screens here, really nice composition. I really like the kind of the center framing and the secondary, tertiary mobile devices that are kind of in the background. So it's a really nice composition, really nice usage of color. The colors are kind of all in a family of colors, and they all relate to each other. So showing kind of the same color usage in the 3 screens is really nice. Really, really great submission, Anna. Looks like we're looking at kind of swimming, cycling, tennis, and running. And so you actually even were able to dig into a couple detail views of what each of those submissions would look like. So really, really nice job. And then we've got another submission from Rajdeep. Really, really nice color palette. Got some deep purples, some nice hot pinks to kind of accent each other.
That feels nice.
I really like the incorporation of the graph with kind of the composition. It's a really interesting way to frame the content area, but also to show this progress that's kind of running off the screen. And then the latest activity maps is a really nice way to kind of show other clickable elements and other context that you'd like to navigate into. So definitely appreciate adding the screens in a device. It's definitely nice to see them in a composition and in situ. So yeah, 2 gold stars.
Yeah, those are nice. I like that. I like the gradient on the little circle there. It's a cool touch.
Yeah, really nice colors. Alrighty. So keep them coming. We're looking forward to seeing everybody's submissions. We'll be picking a winner. The winner is going to get access to a year subscription of Adobe Creative Suite, which is, I mean,
It's a big deal.
it's kind of a big deal.
Okay. So I'm still working here on the book class portion. I'll need like a header as well because since they came from here, the date, find classes, I will also need probably a header for the date they looked for. So they're just reminded of which these are for, which days these are for. Maybe I could do like classes. What day was that? Monday, May 15th? Or maybe I could do right underneath it. Whoops. And do I have a... I think I want to make that smaller. Like that. Nope, too small.
You're also showing the prototype on your mobile phone.
Yes.
Which is it's a really awesome feature within XD, to be able to just plug in your phone and then it'll show up once you click into the prototype. But I think also, as some people are showing their work in situ in photos, it's also really nice just to see it on a device in front of you. It's a good way to gauge how legible the font is, how are the colors showing up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can design things in certain scales on screen and then realize that maybe things need to be bumped up a little bit as you're looking on a device.
I tend to go small, like I'm looking at book class right now on my screen. So you can actually just like connect your phone right to your computer app on your phone, and it'll just sync pretty much real time with your edits. So yeah, I'm looking at like the book class button I just did. It's like way too small. It's like a tendency, because I'm like seeing it here so big, it's like really helpful to see that on the device that you're doing it at.
Yeah, it's a really good way to iterate, improve your designs. Once you download the XD app, you just need to click the live preview button, and then once you're showing, once you're clicked into an artboard, that'll show up on your device.
Yeah. It's getting a little bit bigger. Book class. I think it needs to be even bigger than that. Maybe we'll just do book and center that. What's that?
So Marcio is definitely throwing out some really good edge cases, but thinking about text and how text wraps. So he was saying, what if the class is super long, like Advanced Plyometric Calisthenics Seminar with Vladimirovich?
Vladimirovich.
So yeah,
That was a creative title.
It's a very, very good edge case.
Yeah, absolutely. So an option for that would be to remove the instructor's name and put their name down here, and that way it'll wrap around. Hopefully, though, every class is like a small name class.
Yeah.
And first name for instructor. Yeah, that would be probably an alternative to what I just did.
Yeah, I think there's a couple ways. You can always ellipsize the text and add kind of the 3 dots.
Yeah.
I think
read more.
Or read more. Yeah, that's one of the things that I was going to ask you. Do you envision this? Maybe if I were to click on one of these cells, does that take me to a more detailed view, where then I can get exposure to more information, and that could be a way that you could surface the Advanced Plyometric Calisthenics Seminar with Vladimir. I think you could probably fit all that in on a full screen.
Yeah. It could also be like a pop-up window, or like a page that just like pops up and gives you information about the class. So that's another way to do it too. Maybe just like a read more button. Let's make the book.
All good suggestions and good feedback.
Yes. Still working on my button size here. Making sure it looks big enough on the phone. Still looking small. Does anyone have any ideas on the photo? Border or shadow?
I thought it'd be nice just to hear, as you're kind of considering putting a stroke or a shadow, what are you trying to solve for? Like what brought you to that decision? What are some of your concerns maybe that you have?
Well, in selecting this particular photo, the background is white, and I thought it just looked awkward. It's not really like a button or anything that they're supposed to click on, but just so people, so it doesn't look like his arm is cut off, but people realize that that's just like the binding space for the photo.
Right.
I think it's like probably easier on the eye. So for that, it would just accommodate like different photos that the instructors submit to the app and kind of make it look a little bit cleaner.
Awesome.
Or more intention behind it.
Yeah, no, really good consideration, and something to think about.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, let's do that here. I think I'm gonna go with that gray I just selected for this guy. I can barely see it though. So 8 a.m. hip hop cardio with Rick.
Yeah, everything's showing up on the phone really nicely.
Yeah.
If we could maybe get the GoPro turned on, we can just show it on device just so everyone can kind of get an idea of how this is looking on device.
Yeah. So it's not even prototyped yet, but you can like scroll through your screens and just kind of see how each of them look on the phone. So I think this is looking pretty good as far as legibility and size. Maybe I could, I don't know, Fine Classes looks like a good size. Yeah.
Yeah, there was an earlier comment about, and this is something that as we evolve through design and like see consistency is we're kind of using the all cap text in some buttons, and then we have it in lowercase and then in different font styles.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the great things about, having so many eyeballs is people are really, eyeballs meaning the community of people that are watching right now, but having so many people that are kind of considering your design, thinking about how to improve it.
Yeah.
And so it's never going to be short of really, really good feedback and considerations.
Oh yeah.
I know also that when we're designing these things in actual situation, it's very easy to kind of overlook some of those things. So,
yeah. No, I agree. I know that it needs a lot of refinement right now.
Definitely a blessing. But yeah, we'll probably. I know you'll address those things absolutely. But yeah, it's just good feedback just to see how people are thinking very critically about your design and executing.
Yep. These need work, like hip hop cardio, weights, all that is like different color right now. So I need to kind of go in and clean that up a little bit. And part of that's just me like thinking through how I want it to look.
Yep.
So. Yeah,
design is never done, right? So it's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing.
Yeah.
So it's a good principle. It's always one iteration away from getting better.
Right.
Yeah. I think Kerwin asked, are you swiping through the artboards, or is that a swipe transition?
Oh, on the phone? No, I haven't prototyped anything for that portion yet. So that's just the navigation to just swipe through my artboards.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a photo library. If you're viewing an image and you're just able to scroll through it. So I think XD is just pulling it in as images and just scrolling through it.
Yep. So here we're going to repeat grid. So I've got my whole rectangle or my cell with my content in there, and I'm just going to click repeat grid up here, which I think it's also Command R, and we've got points here, go right or left, or right, or can you go? Well, I guess you don't need to go left, you just move things to the left. So you can either go right or down, expand it or go down. So here we have our list.
Probably one of my favorite features.
Yes.
Of definitely like blew my mind when I first experienced that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, being able to just create lists, or we've seen it applied in kind of doing discovery screens where you want to show multiple different tiles of maybe book titles or podcasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, amazing feature.
Very helpful. So here we've got those. And what I just did here was I wanted, of course, this isn't going to be the instructor for every class. So I just selected like a bunch of photos that I have from my Creative Cloud libraries, which is from Adobe stock. And I selected a few of them, which I think the command was, it was command, just the command button. And you can just put that into one of these and all of them will populate the ones that you selected. So that's pretty cool. So here I'm just gonna like change out the name a little bit. So this is with Rick. This is, what will this class be? Yoga.
Advanced plyometric calisthenics. We also have a question just about the challenge submissions. So you can find more details about the challenge. It's in the chat feed on Behance. And yeah, all the details are in there. We're focused on an activity tracker or a dashboard for a activity tracker app or experience for a mobile phone. So we're about 15 minutes from the submission deadline. So far we've got some great submissions we shared. And then we'll be going over those submissions and picking a winner. Alissa will be picking the winner. And then that winner will be getting a year subscription to Adobe Creative Suite.
Yep.
Awesome. So we've got a list view. We've got some peoples. We've got some times. It's really cool just to see how you're able to kind of refine one of those content areas or one of those cells. And then as soon as you feel like you're ready to kind of duplicate that or move forward with the style that you have, you're able to fill the screen, right, and fill the content area and just have it feel like a full experience. So yeah, it's really coming along nicely.
Yeah. I think if you also change like an element within it, it changes all the elements when you're in repeat grid. So that's also pretty cool. So I'm wondering why it added that space. Oh, that's the padding. So, whoops. Yeah, so I don't want that because I pretty much allotted for that within the little cell. So I don't really need any. Oh my gosh. Is it all gone? Yeah, I guess. Oh, there's a little bit more. Okay. No, wait, now I think it wiped my little shadow.
Axel said it looks really good and clean.
Thanks, Axel.
Thanks for your comments. Yeah.
Like the encouragement. Okay, so now that I like remove some of that spacing, I'll bring down the page a little bit more. So I think that's looking good. Let's take a look at it on my phone. Yeah.
Awesome. So we've got Alissa Suzanne here working through a gym and kind of workout experience app. This is day 2 of Adobe Live. We spent the first day going through some wireframes, going through a little bit of background information, hearing more about your experience, and you're starting your own company, ScribblePie.
Yes.
Which is really exciting. And then, yeah, we're at day 2, so we've been able to move through the calendar, now getting through the list view. I mean, the app's really come along just in, the short time. I think it's total, 3 hours that we've been working on this. We've got 4 screens. You're able to view it on your device.
Yeah.
So yeah, how are you feeling about progress? How are you feeling about where the design's headed?
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it. This is fun. We've got a few pages. Of course, there's like a ton of pages that we would need for this app, but these are just a few of the features. One thing I didn't create was a splash page. So we could do that as well. I think I'm pretty much done here with the classes.
Okay.
So we could go into the book. I think what I'd like to do once you click on book would be to just have like a pop-up window. So we could actually do that. What are you thinking? Splash page or move into the book?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really curious about the name. I mean, maybe it's better if, we just decide. We've gotten quite a few suggestions. I can't remember all of them. But yeah, if we pick a name, that'll definitely help us figure out the splash screen.
Yeah.
And as you continue to evolve the design, I'm really curious just to see, how more and more screens are going to look. It's at a really good point, to where you've already been able to show it on your phone to prototype. So yeah.
Yeah.
All up to you. We've got about 10 minutes left before the submission deadline is due for the activity tracker dashboard experience. We've got 3 submissions. We've already shared and talked about 2. Also, we've got Megan and Zach coming up after Alissa finishes. So stick around. Thanks for joining us. It's really cool to see everybody talking in the community. We're designing some really, really beautifully orchestrated screens with really nice color palette. So it's just a lot of fun.
Yes, it is a fun color palette. Do we have like a list of the names that were suggested that we could go through? Or?
I don't know. That may not have been something. I'm trying to think. So there was a
Shredrule. That's funny. Is that easy to say? Shredrule.
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 I kind of like Shredrule.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. I keep
Kinetic
getting
lift.
like drool though, like shred drool.
Jim and Ohm.
Shredrule.
Jim and Pam. Ha.
Jim and Pam. Oh, there's some Mr. Director is asking some serious questions here. Who is Alissa influenced by in her design career? Whew, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
So as far as designers, I've got a ton of designers that I'm influenced by. Of course, Sagmeister and Walsh and everything that they do. Jessica Walsh and their art direction is like pretty incredible. And like always inspirational, the stuff that they do. For typography, I love Jessica Hish. She just like has made an awesome career out of typography and like book covers. And are you familiar with her? It's great.
I wonder if I've seen her work.
Paul knows. Yeah. And then just like influenced by non-designers and things that, like culinary experiences and cool workspaces and environments and so I think that art can be in anything, or like even experiences like checking into a hotel or things like that, like how I'm treated in an experience, like customer service to me is like pretty inspirational for UX UI.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, there's a local artist here, Heather Day, and she has a gallery where she kind of does abstract and mural paintings, but she's also opened up her gallery as a dinner space. So she's kind of touching on culinary and experience as well as her art. So it's really nice just to see how people are able to utilize their space and kind of invite people into their space, but also a creative process.
Yeah, that's cool. So we need a name. Back to the name thing. Wiggle Wiggle.
Fit Active.
Fit Active.
Have you ever studied abroad?
I have studied abroad, yes. I went to Italy and did a month there in college and I took like a travel photography class, and I studied Renaissance art history, and it was pretty incredible. I went to like it was in Florence, and I did like a different cathedral every day. And
favorite Renaissance artists?
Oh, a lot of them have, I took 4 art history classes in college, and a lot of them have like escaped me over the years because I'm not super engulfed in it anymore. But let's see. Maybe Donatello's controversial David and Goliath, or it's actually David with Goliath's head. That was pretty controversial sculpture. I always thought that was cool because he like created something unique within the time period. So you guys can look that up if you'd like.
No, Donatello's awesome. I was always a big fan of the Caravaggio, like those hyper-realist. Like some of his still lifes and studies were just kind of blew my mind away. I lived in Italy for 1.5 years.
Did you?
Yeah, and studied over there. Did a graduate degree. So
that's like my dream.
Italy's awesome.
Where in Italy?
I was in Milan.
Oh, cool. I never got to go to Milan, but I went everywhere else in the country.
Yeah, it was cool. They had like Da Vinci's sketchbook on display. Got to go and see The Last Supper.
Oh, nice.
And it was really cool because a lot, the waterways and a lot of the systems that are still in place in the city were created by Da Vinci.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of ever present.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, for those of you that have the opportunity to go abroad, absolutely do it, especially while you're in school.
Yeah.
There's nothing like experiencing another country as a student. You get access to free museum visits and all kinds of discounts.
Yep.
Really, really awesome.
Also, especially with Italy, there's a lot of our art forefathers there. So it's cool to just see how like they changed the game for art and the rebirth of that. Another one I forgot to mention is Alphonse Mucha. He was actually like a pioneer of graphic design, and he I've actually wanted to get like a sleeve tattoo of his stuff, but he did like advertising and for like plays. I think it was in France,
Cool.
and he started with like wood blocks and just like did prints, and they're beautiful. They're just like it's like Art Nouveau. And he, of course, like created a whole style around that, and like a lot of artists adapted his style. But he's like the original graphic designer. So
That's
he was
awesome.
like doing advertising and all that. Like I think it was in the 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Very cool. Margarita said she studied abroad in Thailand. That must have been awesome.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
So we're just under 5 minutes for the submission deadline. We're looking forward to seeing more activity tracker submissions. We've got up to, I think, 4 or 5 now, which is really exciting. We've almost doubled in the last half hour.
Oh, good.
So what's next?
So I think I'm just going to complete that booking option. That way we just like have a conclusion to what that looks like. And then I'll probably just go back and do the splash page as well, so we have like a beginning and an end to the app. But I also have more features I'd like to do tomorrow as well. How are we doing on time?
We still have about 30 minutes left.
Okay, cool. So I think
So
that's
plenty
perfect.
of time. It was really great to share and hear about your inspirations,
Yeah.
also about travels. So thanks for sharing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Love
that's awesome.
traveling. Has anyone done like a remote year? I know there's like a lot of like traveling opportunities for like remote workers now. I know one's called like Remote Year or Digital Nomads. That's like also something I want to do. Just like they basically like set up your whole schedule for like a year, like traveling to different countries, and they have like co-working spaces for you to work. Of course, you like need your own job. They don't give you work, but they set up like the travel experience and like your boarding and your co-working spaces. And so I wasn't paid to say this, but I think that would be like something really cool for like a remote job.
Yeah.
So take advantage if you're a freelancer. Get out there and travel. Okay.
Yeah, let us know if you have any more questions. I know Tim and others have been really helpful in kind of fielding the questions and answers. So yeah, if you have any questions for Alissa, definitely make sure to share them with us. we've got another half hour to continue to work through designs, and then we've got Megan coming up next and Zach coming up at the end of the segment. So thanks so much for hanging out and spending time with us. Alissa, this has been a lot of fun. So really inspired by the color palette. As I mentioned, I tried to create the heart icon last night. So thanks for showing that again.
Yeah. My pleasure. So I think here I'm going to just do like a blur. So what I did was this is just a rectangle I placed over, and then you can select background blur and kind of go through how that'll look. You can also like change the color, I think. Maybe not. Thought you could. But anyway, yeah.
Change the color of it?
Yeah, I think, yeah, here, the background blur. Oh, that's why. I had the opacity down. So yeah, you can change the background blur color. So I'll probably need to play with that, but let me get into the pop-up, I guess we can call it. So I locked that. So once you would select book on one of these, we'll then go here and you'll get a box. I'll add a shadow so it feels like it's something that's popped up. Maybe a little X, so you can leave it once you know that you're booked. Oh, that wasn't very good. Let's do it like... Whoops, lock that. Okay. Okay, checking it on my device, on my phone, just to make sure I can see the X, which I can, so that's good. And we'll do you're booked. Use my character styles, which I should be doing more of today. You're booked.
Yeah, I think Axel asked if you can change the character style. If I think that's correct. Yeah, can you change text orientation? You probably already covered this.
Text orientation. Right now I'm changing the character styles, so yeah, you can go filter through those. And then orientation as far as like landscape or vertical? Is that what we mean? Oh.
Yeah, actually, I mean, good opportunity to ask a clarifying question. So Axel, just let us know what you mean by orientation, whether you're talking about placement or character style. We've reached the end of our challenge submission deadline, so that's okay, just because you're also able to submit in the next segment with Megan. We'll also have the activity tracker carrying through all segments, so just in case you missed this window, that's all right. We'll be covering the submissions and going over them, and selecting a winner who's going to receive a year subscription to the Adobe Creative Suite.
Yeah.
We have, so far, it looks like about 9 submissions, which is really great.
Cool.
You want to check them out?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So we'll go into This is a submission from Joseph. So the submission guidelines were to do an activity tracker mobile dashboard.
Yeah, cool. That looks pretty familiar.
What do you mean by that?
Maybe that could be integrated into this app. So that's cool. It's a good feature, I guess, if that was your intention, or unless you were just inspired and this would be a different app. But that could be cool to be like integrated in here.
Yeah,
so,
it's really cool just to see your color palette and kind of just the overall content area used. So really nice use of inspiration. So
we got 75% daily, sorry, I'm reading off of the screen.
Daily tasks
Daily task completion.
And then we got a step counter, total distance, and then stairs.
Did you use the noun project for your icons? I think I've seen that little one before, Joseph. I'm curious. But yeah, that looks cool. I like that.
And then we've got a submission from Anish. So we've got today's activity. Looks like a 20% kind of completion progress. Last night's sleep. Heart rate, 90 BPM.
Oh, cool.
Really like seeing the purples. Purples definitely seems to be kind of like a 2018 color. I don't know if it was last year's color.
I think it was like was
it
it considered lavender or indigo or something last year for Pantone? But maybe because it was last year's color, now it's being implemented this year.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially how fashion tends to kind of be the leading and then catch up in the next year.
It's like a deep purple blue that's like popular. Yeah.
Awesome. So Nicole shared her visuals. So we've got a kind of like an activity feed. We've got weights, steps, yoga, progress indicator, kind of percentage tracking, hinting at a little bit of maybe a menu through the hamburger icon.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I like that.
Let's see what else, just in case we missed any. We've got another submission.
Ooh.
Yeah, really nice colors. It feels like the ocean, like visibility, as it would decrease as it goes down.
Yeah.
As the light.
Yeah. What is that at the bottom there? It says 75. Is that your heart rate?
This is total score of 75 for Wednesday.
Oh, so the score is based on...
Yeah, maybe kind of like percentages through each of the things that you're tracking.
Yeah.
It'll kind of tell you whether you've hit your goal. Really nice use of color.
Yeah, that looks good.
Very legible. And Katri. So we've got steps today.
Climbing
I like
up.
the person climbing the mountains.
Yeah, I like that too. It adds like a total different I guess visual to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really refreshing. It's not kind of the normal way that you would see progress.
Right. Maybe like throughout the app it'll change like each day or something.
And from Tim.
What do we have here?
Looks like steps, running, cycling. We've got a kind of a progress chart, progress fill.
Yep.
And like the ellipses. Nice color palette.
Yep.
Very clean. And this is from Fabian.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like, let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Might not be able to go anymore. But it looks like 4.6 kilometers, running, health, and some other ones that I can't read. Really nice composition though. Again, it's nice to see it kind of as like a marketing material maybe.
Right. Yeah, it's not like confined to a grid or anything.
Anna's we discussed a little bit earlier. So Anna, this is your submission. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Rajdeep.
Man, they're all so
Talked
good.
a lot about the purples. Yeah, there's a lot of really nice submissions.
Tough decision.
I think there's a couple new ones. Let's just make sure.
Okay.
This is a placeholder. It's clearly labeled. And then we've got another submission. Also another interesting take on just navigation. Kind of have like some implied card sorting, and then the cells for sleep, yoga, swimming. Oh, yoga. I don't know what yoga is.
Maybe it's like jogging and
or yoga. Maybe it's yoga, form of jogging. Like a jog walk.
A jog walk.
Also like a nice friendly message, kind of says good morning, Eric, up at the top.
That's nice. Nice touch.
Awesome.
Cool.
So what are you thinking? Are you ready to pick a winner?
Oh man, these are good. This is a tough call.
Got a lot of really nice submissions. It looks like we've got about 12.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 or 11.
Huh. I think one that stood out to me was the little guy walking up the hill.
Okay.
I thought that was like
From Khatri?
just totally refreshing, and just like conceptually like a great idea, and I'd love to see that like more refined. Of course, you only had like a little bit of time today, but I don't know. I think for that concept, I think that should be our winner.
Awesome. That was quick. Do you want to share a little bit more just about what you found refreshing, just to help maybe
it
provide
kind of
more
reminds
context?
me of like a game a little bit, and there's some like beautiful games out there that have like these like really intricate like backgrounds with like, I don't know. I found that was just like a cool way to show your progress, and but it still like gives me like a sense of calm. I don't know.
Cool. Awesome.
But I'd love to see it like, you know, more refined, like maybe add some more colors and things like that. I think you could probably make your 23 times like those words a little bit smaller, and maybe work on like a color palette that's a little bit more consistent. But I think conceptually it's fun. It's a different take on it. So
awesome. Yeah, all really, really good feedback. Congratulations, Khatri. Also, gold star for just creativity and kind of thinking outside the box. I think it's really nice just to see you exploring and challenging, pushing the boundaries. So.
And it's a graph too, so it says like you've reached that amount of steps, and when you reach your goal, you'll be at the top of the mountain in the sunset. So
Awesome. Cool.
Congrats.
Alrighty, Miss Alissa.
Yes.
We've made some great progress today, moving through your gym app. It looks like we're still holding out on a name, so that's okay. Maybe we can pick that up for day 3.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Simon still wants to see class action in there.
Class action.
So I know you were kind of continuing on kind of your modal or popover experience.
Yes.
Tomorrow, just to maybe do a little bit of hint of what you'd like to kind of focus on for tomorrow.
Yeah. So tomorrow, I'd like to just kind of do the beginning and the end of the demo. So add that splash page in, so what the user would see when they first open it. And maybe a login screen. I wasn't sure if we should do that on the front end. I think it should be on the front end of the experience. Maybe like they'll click their, like they'll add in their membership ID or something. And yeah, so we'll do the splash page and maybe like the intro to the app, and then finalize this booking page, which would be pretty quick to do. And then if we've got time tomorrow, which I'm sure we will, I'd like to also do a little bit more prototyping, and maybe do that last progress page just so the user can like see their...
Yeah, we can show some of their sketches just in case they want to put it on camera.
Yeah. So this here, I was thinking like a timeline, kind of like they can upload a photo. That would be like a pinned button. So they could upload a photo and it'll show like a timeline of their progress, I guess, in their fitness journey, and just to look back on that and to see like how many classes they've been to. Up here, it would say like, 39 workouts achievement with like a little trophy. It's my trophy. So maybe we'll make an icon tomorrow. You can enter in like a goal for the week, like 3 workouts a week. So yeah, and this is just my thought process. Like, do we want to upload a photo? Maybe this will float on top of the screen, and that'll be like, when you click there, it'll say how many times do you want to work out? 5 times. Click yes, takes you back here. So yeah, this was the name idea I had because I was like, group fitness. So I was like, group with like a little dumbbell in the middle or something.
Oh, nice.
Thought that was fun, but I'm still open to what you guys have. Or if you guys like group. It's kind of funny. It reminds me of like goop.
Very cool.
So yeah, so that I'd like to also cover tomorrow, and then just do some more prototyping so you guys can see how that works. Prototyping is so easy in Adobe XD, and it's fun. It's like fun to see your work come alive and function as you want it to look, and so.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't taken advantage, XD is free now.
Yeah.
I was curious. So when you're doing these sketches, you've talked about kind of splash screens and sign-in screens. Do you have an idea of kind of what the flow is, or you're choosing these screens and you're thinking about things that you want to do, but how do you come about with what your kind of ideal flow is, or what the narrative is going to be, to try to get in the idea of the customer? Because you're choosing these screens, but it's all part of you thinking about what.
So yeah, we didn't do like the login page yet, but I kind of wanted to keep yesterday interesting for you guys.
Logins are fun.
Yeah, they can be. So essentially like the splash page, a login, and then they would land on the navigation, or they would land at just the booking page. I think that's really the most important part of the app, and important being because it would be used the most, considering like this fictitious gym's business model, which would be like to buy a set amount of classes a month. That way you have to use those and book them each week. So I think once you come in from the login page, it should probably go straight there, and then they can, like, if they want to navigate elsewhere, they can maybe click on this guy. I always say this guy for like elements and design, but yeah. So
okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think
okay.
One of the things, and definitely wasn't a pointed question, but was trying to just get into the framing that you're thinking about the journey and you're trying to walk somebody through what the experience of the app is, and that's very much an aspect that's derived from kind of your wayfinding experience, how you think about designing, but it's very much what is integral into doing experience design. And so using XD or sketching in a notepad, and kind of thinking about these steps, it's kind of thinking beyond the screens, and it's about thinking about the interactions and how to move through the product, and thinking about what content to put in front of the customer or the user in the right way. So yeah, definitely answered the question. Just wanted to, for anybody that's listening, help just kind of frame a little bit of how we arrived at getting here, and why this is kind of part of the process also. Right.
And like, for example, the login is not intended for every time you open the app. Like, I would hate to have to log in every time I open an app. So that would only just be like a one-time thing once you first download it, and then you wouldn't need to log in unless you like signed out. So things like that. So upon opening, like if you're already logged in, you would get a splash page, and then it would automatically open you to the booking feature. Yeah.
Very cool. So tomorrow we'll be going through a few more screens, maybe plugging it into a prototype. I'm just curious if there's anything else that you're thinking. Definitely need to figure out the name for the product.
Yes.
So maybe people will work on group. Maybe they can work on designing the icon for it. I don't know.
People seem to like group.
I like the I am group.
I am group.
Good Guardians of the Galaxy reference there.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yep, good
Love
one.
him.
Cool. So anything, I mean, how was today? Anything in particular? Anything that I think it's always nice to kind of recap, and doing these live and kind of doing them in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
There's definitely, as you mentioned earlier, kind of a display of vulnerabilities. So,
yeah.
What were some of the things maybe, that you got hung up on, or maybe that stumped you, or what are some of the things that you think went really well?
Yeah. Well, as you guys all pointed out, I need to be more consistent with my character styles, and that's just really because I'm in like the very first phase of the design. But yeah, I need to definitely clean those up and make sure everything's consistent there. And what else? Like using the phone, like connected to the computer, is a great way to just like see your work real time. So that helped a lot, using that today. And I typically use that like every time. We should have had it yesterday, but yeah, that helps just as you go. So what else? We got through the calendar today, and then the booking of the classes, and then we started this here, the pop-up for once you're booked. So have to think through what'll be on that.
Yeah, what do you think? Like, do you think that's going to be a celebratory opportunity? Like confetti explode from the screen.
Yeah, that'd
trophies,
be fun.
I don't know, check marks.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely one of those moments I would classify as a way to really delight the customer, like, yeah, you did it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I think, well, for my progress page, I'd like to integrate like a setting how many workouts you want to achieve a week. So maybe within, like, once you book your class, it'll say like maybe like 1 out of 3 workouts booked this week or something to achieve your goal, or some kind of verbiage like that. Would be cool to just remind the user of the goal that they set out. So that would be a fun thing to do. Yeah.
Cool. Are you on Twitter? Are you on Dribbble? How can maybe the community interact with you?
Yeah.
I know you're on Instagram.
I am on Instagram. I have a Behance, which you guys can access there. And I am on Twitter, but I should probably use it more. It's just Scribble Pie. What is my Dribbble name? I think I have a Dribbble as well, but I should probably know what it is. Let me look that up.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always good to reach out. I know even for me on Twitter, like, I'll occasionally have people that are attending the show and they'll reach out, and I actually have a way so people can schedule time with me.
Yeah.
So I like 10, 15 minutes if anybody ever wants to reach out. Conversations can vary from how do I become a designer to how should I think about this project that I'm working on to how I became a designer. So it's a really good opportunity. For those of you that reach out, it's really great. Also, I'm sure you're going to receive an influx of just high fives and positivity. The community is really exceptional about reaching out and saying how much they enjoyed your session, commenting on Behance, which is always really refreshing and really nice to hear. Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
So it's definitely awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. My Dribbble name is just Alissa Suzanne, so you can Google me or Dribbble me. Yeah. Or I think you can, no wait, you can find me by Scribble Pie on Dribbble. Yeah. As well. So I've got all of the Behance, Dribbble, Twitter, Instagram, website, Scribble Pie. Look, it's right there. Tim's got it.
It's all in there. Awesome. So we've got about 10 minutes left. Definitely happy to continue the conversation. Let's also just, we can show you who's coming up next. We've got Megan coming in. We've got Zach coming in at the end of the day. So stick around. We'll be at Adobe Live until 3:30. Also, if you're joining us from the XD Daily Challenge, make sure to sign up and register for the email. That way you'll be on the email subscription to kind of receive what your prompt will be each day. In case you can't find the email or haven't seen it, just do a dig through your spam. Maybe it got archived somehow, but just do a search for Adobe Creative Cloud and see if you can find the invite there. We'll really be looking forward to seeing your submissions. In case you weren't able to submit for our time today for the activity tracker, you can definitely submit it in Megan's section, which is going to be coming up here in about 3 minutes. Yeah, so thanks everybody for joining the community. Thank you for chatting, providing feedback. As you have experienced, there's definitely some takeaways and some opportunities to incorporate feedback from everybody in the group.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's always good to have a culture of accepting feedback too, and critique from other designers, and just asking around and saying like, hey, does this look good? And being able to like receive that and being like constantly wanting to improve your work. So
yeah, absolutely. Feedback's a gift, and it definitely, you know, can take some getting used to, but being open to that feedback and kind of receiving it in a positive way, you know, structuring feedback in the form of it being actionable, constructive, or kind of curious questions of, you know, what was your hypothesis, are also really good ways to incorporate feedback.
Yep. Yeah. Always explain the why or ask why. Yeah.
So, Zach, thanks for joining us. Jason, awesome. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Stick around for Megan. She's coming up next. We can sign off and give a wave.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.